Hi everybody, this is Diana in LA and Cary in the UK, and we're here to talk about this week's stars. Welcome to our weekly reading where we explore all things astrological. From our two different points of view in two different locations in the world, we bring to you a unique astrological perspective on what is happening right now across the globe. So here we go. Where do we begin with this week? You know, it's ever a frustration for both of us that in about 10 minutes we're covering so much information, trying to distill it down to the few things that maybe we can highlight. And this is one of those weeks where it's extra more. And we're starting off with, I wanted to talk about today, Saturday. Saturn is retrograde. This happened at 2:19 a.m. this morning on Saturday in Los Angeles. And next Saturday, Mercury goes retrograde. So we're going to have Saturn going retrograde, Mercury going retrograde. Well, that's a way to really clunk up the system. All the things that we want to move forward towards is going to slow down. So there is this tension of so much energy wanting to move forward right now. And kind of we can't. And so there's this push and pull energy. Also, Neptune is squaring Mercury, which is conjunct Venus in almost an exact square. Right now, this is happening all week long. And so again, confusion, not knowing how to move forward, not knowing what to move forward to. So wow, what a week. And an eclipsed full moon on Wednesday. So there's more. That's just where I'm starting. Cary, what are you seeing from your side of the world?
Well, where do we begin? Hi, everyone. This is going to be quite a challenging week because we've got 3 T-squares and a grand trine. And the T-squares are being triggered off by the moon. So as the moon is going on its path, where there's a square, for instance, between Saturn and Uranus, as soon as the moon goes into Scorpio, you've got a T-square. So the moon is having a dramatic effect on just about everything this week. So it's going to be a bit of a bumpy week. You mentioned the Mercury conjunct Venus squaring Neptune. On the worldwide stage, it's a time of challenge to ideals, challenge to your thinking, very passionate thinking. In the UK, there's demonstrations at the moment because of what's going on in the Middle East on both sides. So there's a lot of heartfelt idealism going on at the moment, if that's the right word, because when you have the square of Mercury and Venus to Neptune, Mercury being the planet of communication, Venus being the planet of heart, and the two of them together, you feel things very deeply, and the moon is setting that all off this week. So it's going to be quite a challenging week.
Yes, and whenever the moon is involved, you know it's emotional, right? And the moon is always moving across through the chart, every 28 days, moving through it, triggering at points all along the way. And they're little hot spots, right? And we take it personally. So whenever the moon's involved, which it is in the T-squares and the full moon, obviously, and the grand trine, we've got emotional heatedness, plus with confusion, Neptune.
That's right, a lot of confusion. So what I thought would be interesting was to look at the signs and the dates that are affected by the T-squares and the grand trines. So for example, on the 24th, which is Monday, you've got the T-square between the moon, Saturn and Uranus. So if you're born on the 3rd of May, November, or February, you're going to feel this. It's going to be a bit of an uncomfortable day. The next day, the moon has moved still in Scorpio. Now it's starting to trine Mars and Neptune, and that is really nice. That's a lovely feel. So on the 25th, if you're born between the 8th and the 11th of July, November or March, you're going to feel really good on that day. And you're going to feel emotionally excitable. It's going to be one of those days where things can just fall into place. And then on Wednesday, you've got the full moon. And the main dates of people being affected by that are 26th of May, 26th of November, and 26th of February. Anybody born on those, round about those days are going to feel this full moon a lot stronger than anybody else. And then finally, on Thursday, you've got a T-square with the moon, Mercury and Venus, and Neptune. And for that, if you're born on around the 14th of December, 14th of March, or 14th of June, you're going to feel that as well. So this is a week where all the signs are going to be tested, and they're all going to be tested by the moon. So a very emotional week.
Yes, so take care of yourself in your reactions and how you process information and what you are aware of in the world, realizing there's probably a lot more to be aware of than the headlines that are out there that are meant to incite, meant to keep you watching. It's very important right now to be steady internally. And it really, if there's a lesson for this last year, is to find your own center, not get pushed around by other people's energies, whether it be the media or people around you, to keep your own sovereignty, to keep your own mind, to keep your own awareness, to come from peace in your heart and love in your life, so that we can start to assist this giant change of the world that is absolutely happening. The world is changing, and we're part of that change. And the more we can assist it by keeping that calm, it's like the midwife at a birth. They're not screaming, they're calm. And we need to be calm too during these turbulent times. There's more to come as the year continues through, as some of these aspects, Saturn and Uranus especially, start to wind up and even get tighter still. There's just a lot of action right now and change.
You took the words right out of my mouth, as the song goes. You mentioned the retrograde of Saturn. Well, this week, Uranus went a degree forward. So it went from 11 degrees Taurus to 12 degrees Taurus. As Saturn retrogrades back, eventually Saturn and Uranus are going to be exactly squaring each other. And that's going to be a time on the world stage to really watch what happens, because a retrograding Saturn squaring Uranus is not an easy aspect. And we talked about this before in July, when Mars goes into Leo. It's batten down the hatches time on the world front.
So all week long we have Mercury conjunct Venus in Gemini, Mercury going to be retrograde next Saturday, also in Gemini. And so we've got all this talking going on, all these conversations going on. The world is busy again. We're starting to move, as we talked about last week. And Saturn's retrograde. So this is an interesting combination. It is not helpful to the situation, but what I feel like it is, stay aware, take your time, slow down, dot your I's, cross your T's, consciously move forward. Don't unconsciously move forward. So what has happened is, because we've been so cooped up for such a long time, there's this thrusting energy coming forward as people are moving out, and right away almost hit by a wall of no in various ways. Not enough money, not enough time, don't even know what to do. And then that Mercury Venus conjunct squaring Neptune creates an environment of unsureness. Right? We're not sure where to go. We don't know how to move exactly. And it doesn't seem like ever anything we're doing is exactly the right thing. It's like, is this right? Is this right? Is this right? And that's an okay kind of place to be. Is this right? That's a good question to ask about everything we do in our lives. Is this right? Is there a better way to do it? So what I feel is there are these restrictions, yes, Saturn retrograde, of the forward movement. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe we can do it a little better.
I think so. And I think we're going to be quite challenged over the next few weeks But for certain signs at the moment, there's a bit of lightness. So if you're an air sign at the moment, you're going to be feeling really good about yourself, because as Saturn is retrograding, it does start to trine some of the planets in the stellium. It's going to start trining the sun very shortly as the sun moves on. So I talked about last week about the big whoosh. Well, it felt like a big whoosh, and it's still continuing. So for you air signs, you're going to feel it. It's going to feel good. You're going to feel good about yourself. You're going to feel that you want to be in beautiful places. There's a lot of energy. I mean, you mentioned the word. I think you said there was a lot of energy around. There is, when you've got a stellium in Gemini, you're going to get a lot of energy. And as soon as it trines anything or squares anything, you're going to feel that as well. So it's an idealistic time. You're going to feel good about things, but be careful what you wish to do, because when you have the square of Mercury and Venus squaring Neptune, it's about following your dreams. Well, follow the right ones.
Good one, Cary. And also, to me, Neptune is the big planet that I'm looking. I mean, there's so many things going on, but I've been looking at Neptune. I see all these aspects coming from Neptune to Neptune. And another one is Mars is trining it. See, so we do have aspirations right now. We're saying, okay, now I'm going to do the big project. Now I'm going to get the job. Now I'm going to change locations. There's so much forward energy, and Saturn's retrograde. So here we go, kind of, right? There's this stop, start. So if you can be patient with that process right now, not fight with it too much, and kind of go with the weird flow, because it isn't fluid right now exactly. But if you can stop and start, you'll fare better than if you try to push through, make it happen anyway, because you're going to encounter too much resistance. The more you can just stop when it stops and go when it goes. When the energy starts to flow again, you move. When the energy stops, slow down. I resist nothing, right? You go with the flow. And even though the flow is staccato right now, very sticky, you move with that in that way. Stop, start. And that will get you faster there than if you try to barrel through.
In about 10 days' time, Mercury will be trining Neptune exact. So at the moment, lots of energy, lots of discussions on lots of fronts. The following week, there should be a solution to some of those discussions that are taking place on all those different fronts. So it's a very favourable time for the world when Mars trines Neptune exact.
Exactly. And also, of course, the full moon energy that's happening, which is the exact degree for some of you that like that. It's 5 degrees Gemini, plus a little bit, so 6 degrees Gemini Sun, and 5 degrees Sagittarius moon. So the full moon's in Sagittarius. So that's where the light is going to be very bright, shining on your chart. You ones that have planets near 5 degrees Sag, or 5 degrees Gemini for that matter, and I know a lot of you actually do. This will be a highlighted time for you where you'll be illuminated about where that house where Gemini sits in your chart. There will be illumination. It sits in my 3rd house, so it has to do with my neighborhood and my siblings and my local around me, and it will be illuminated. It's also good for writing when it's in the 3rd house. Each house has different emphases. And so by knowing where your planets are and what planets rule those houses, you can a little bit better sometimes, especially with full moons and new moons, see what's being highlighted right now for you.
And if you happen to have your birthday on Wednesday, the year ahead will be a very nice year for you compared to the last year. And again, if you've got a lot of planets in Gemini, that will be hugely emphasized. And on that particular note, it's my mum's birthday on the 26th, so happy birthday, Mum.
Happy birthday, Cary's mom. And on that note, we wish you all a wonderful week. Our astrocasts are posted on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube now under ASTRO UKLA, and we hope that you will like, share, and comment, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell, and you will be updated when the new weekly astrocast comes out. So, we wish you a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody. Have a lovely week.